Yeah, it was a obviously exciting finish there. Proud of our guys that we were able to come up with some stops that we needed. Obviously, the second half offensively didn't flow as well as we would have liked, but we were able to figure it out, and that's what conference tournament basketball is. It can be crazy, it can be wild, but the idea and the objective is to live another day. And I was proud of the way the guys continued to kind of focus on the things that were important, even as it got a little shaky down the end. We gave up the lead. They were actually up by 4 at one point. We were able to fight back, take the lead. I mean, that just shows some of the character and toughness of the team, and we're excited to be able to play on Saturday again.
It seemed like their 2-3 zone gave you guys a little bit of trouble there in the second half. It's late first half and the second half.
Yeah, well, I mean, St. Francis Brooklyn playing 2-3 zone is like, Glenn and I are, I think, the two longest tenured coaches in the league at 10 years. And probably for the last 9 years, he's played 0% zone, right? So he's thrown it a couple times this year, and it's been effective for him. Obviously, I thought we did a good job preparing for their man-to-man, which is, one of the toughest and most aggressive in the league. And I thought we were able to get some really good shots and opportunities for us. And then they went to the zone. And I thought, obviously it took us a little bit of time to figure it out, but I also thought we got some great looks. Josh had one towards the end of the first half that was 3/4 of the way down. John had a great one from the top of the key. Even in the second half, Josh, Savion, Dante, they had some great looks. We just didn't make them, and that happens sometimes. But we were able to figure out how to get some buckets. AJ had a great turnaround in the lane. Josh had a huge three. He had another finish and another dunk that all of a sudden allowed us to kind of take the lead again. And then we were able to get enough stops to be able to win.
Marino's missed layup that must have been one of the longest seconds you've experienced.
AJ was just telling us out there his heart's still pounding. So welcome to conference tournament basketball. That's what it's about. And you know what? Like I said, it's even down the stretch, I thought we guarded really well on some possessions, and they were able to get to the free throw line and be able to chip into the lead there a little bit. Obviously we got to step up and make some free throws at the end, and we're confident that guys will do that. And that's how we got to be able to finish out games.
AJ, it's quite a NEC tournament debut for you, especially in the second half, 14-22. What do you think was really working for you in the second half in that zone that allowed you to put up that kind of production?
I was just being very active, and I will also say that my teammates gave me the ball, so they found me open, and I just scored. So.
And you've obviously felt comfortable starting into 2 games in a row. Why is that?
I mean, we always feel comfortable with him on the court, just kind of the way the season played out. There was a stretch where he was coming off the bench, but, really any time that we felt we needed to or we wanted to, we could have, easily, flipped him with anybody, right? He's still one of our leading minute guys. Obviously, he brings great energy to the court, and I thought he played an excellent game tonight. I thought Charles played an excellent game tonight. I thought he was really active defensively down the stretch. I thought he did a real good job of continuing to move his feet, being big, walling up. And I thought that everybody that hit the court contributed to our win, and I think, some of these guys have been in some of these games, but not a lot of these games. And, so kind of understanding what can happen and what does happen at times is important learning for them. And like I said, at least we have an opportunity to teach so we can go out next time and play versus, not being able to move on at all.
Do you feel positively about the overall defensive performance forcing 22 turnovers?
Yeah, 22 turnovers. I mean, we held them to 34% in the second half, right? I mean, they scored 58 points. I mean, I think anytime you hold someone to 58 points, your defense has got to be doing something well. And there was a couple of freak plays in there, right? I mean, the three-quarter shot at the end of the first half. I mean, how often does that happen? And then even the last three that Chauncey Hawkins hit, I mean, AJ does a great job just trying to bat that ball out, and it falls right in his hands at the top of the key, right? So there's some things that you can't really control that occur during the course of a game. So those are plays that if those two don't happen, now they're at 52 points. And you're saying, man, your defense was incredible. At halftime, we were saying to our guys, hey, even though we've turned them over a ton, they're still shooting 50%. So with the turnovers, we still got to be able to make a miss, and I think we did a good job of that in the second half.
It's interesting how, in this series, you guys win by 20, they win by 20. This game ends by a single bucket. Glenn kind of said this game tonight is way more resemblant of what St. Francis RMU, that series has been, traditionally. Would you say the same?
1,000,000%. I mean, I still remember my second league game coaching all time, and Glenn's second NEC league game coaching all time was one of the wildest games I've ever been a part of in my life, and most of them since then have been that way. 50s, 60s, one or two big shots, got to get on the glass, got to be able to get open. That's what it's been. And, obviously Glenn does a great job with his guys, able to figure out a different way to kind of defend and break a team's rhythm with that zone. And that's why he's a good coach, and that's why they're always such a tough team.
How challenging is it to get the guys to concentrate on the details of the game, getting the stops, getting the rebounds, and not thinking the circumstances?
I think it's just something that we talk about all the time, and I think Josh and AJ are two guys that are, big personalities and voices on our team. John, Dante, those guys want to win, right? And so I think when you want to win, you realize how important the details are. There were some times even on that last drive by Chauncey Hawkins where, there was 3 white jerseys standing in front of them, all moving their feet at the same time because the desire was great. And that's something that we obviously suggest to them, that we challenge them to do, but then they respond the way that you're supposed to respond. And they were out there competing their butts off.
For Josh and then AJ, could you describe what that last minute was like?
For me, it was a little frustrating. Obviously, I got to the line. I missed some free throws that I should have made. I have to make, especially in my position as a leader and as a senior. But it was crunch time. I've been in situations like that before, and I don't know. The main focus was being detailed, like Coach talked about. Being detailed, making sure that we were getting stops on the defensive end, no matter what happened on offense. No matter how many free throws I make or miss, or how many free throws one of us makes or misses, is about getting a stop. And we end up getting the last stop, prayerfully. So I'm happy about it.
The last minute, I'll say I was just focused. I haven't really been in games like that. So, John, Josh kept talking to me, and I was just focused. We needed to stop, and that was just on my mind, a rebound. So we got it done.
I think that last one was going in.
Yeah, it looked pretty good in my angle. My heart.
From your angle?
Yeah,
I had a better
it looked pretty
angle on
good.
it. I thought it was going to bounce out.
Yeah, it looked pretty good because it hit the backboard, and I thought it was going to spin around it, but John got the board, so. Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. They made a lot of terrible shots,
Yeah.
but they were into the game, so I didn't know what to expect.
Just real quick for you two players, did this feel completely different than any game you played this year? Did you have trouble trying to fight off the feeling of it being a tournament game?
I would say it felt different because it is a tournament game. When you play the games during the season, you always have one coming after it, and right now it's win or go home. So in that aspect, it felt different. But as far as the game itself, the atmosphere was up, so the energy level was up. So it heightened the experience. But other than that, not really too much.
Yeah, I'll say that the pace of the game was really faster today, and the energy was high. So it was fun.
And
Had a fun
what was
time.
your message in the second half? They had gone up 4, and it was during immediate timeout. And you guys had started the half 0 for 10 from 3, and they had just gone up 4. And it didn't really happen until Josh hit the first 3 of the second half until you guys kind of collected yourself. What was your message to the team during that kind of stretch when they first took the lead and things were really looking like it could have ended in a loss?
We're going to figure it out. We got to keep playing, right? I think it was 7:55 at that point in time, maybe something like that. And that was the message, right? We got to keep defending and rebounding. We're going to figure it out. We're going to be able to get good looks. We've gotten good looks that we haven't made. That's part of the game. And you got to keep playing. We got to stay together, and we got to keep playing. And I think out of that timeout is where we got the 3. He got a layup. Charles Bain got a layup, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, everybody take a deep breath and keep guarding, right? We're going to figure out how to attack this zone, and we were able to get a high ball screen and get into the paint and kind of create some indecision on their part that got us some clean looks, right? And I think that's again having some guys that are a fifth-year senior, a junior. John Williams has started every game he's been here at Robert Morris, right? And those guys are in the timeout in the huddle saying, hey, let's keep playing, man. Let's keep playing. It's a 2-possession game, 8 minutes to go. We've been here. This is part of the deal. And I think if we can kind of stay together and keep trying to figure it out and keep working together, you're able to come through some of those difficult situations.
How much of a tag that zone is being patient and not taking the first open up?
Well, it's we did have some early shots that we took, and I felt like we could have got that shot later in the shot clock, and we talked about that, right? Getting it into the high post, getting it out, attacking, getting it back in again, then being able to attack. I think with their zone, how high and how wide it was, how extended it was, we needed to attack it from inside out, and I think we started to attack it from inside out. Got some really big plays down the stretch. His pull-up jumper came out of the timeout with a little bit under 2 minutes to go. We're able to get the ball into Giannis into the middle of the floor where he was able to find AJ for the dunk. I mean, those were some of the things I think we needed to exploit. And I think that's some of the understanding that our guys have is we had some three-point opportunities that we took that didn't go in. All right, now can we attack the rim? Can we get it around the basket? Can we make some plays? Giannis, obviously, with a big play late where he gets the offensive rebound and the foul off Dante's floater. So all those plays in and around the basket were huge plays for us. And again, that's where if guys trust each other and we can figure it out and we can stay together, you can continue to play.
John made his 100th career start tonight, only the 5th player in program history to do that. Is that just a byproduct of kind of the amount of consistency he's shown, since he's got here and his improvement and what he really means to this program?
Yeah, consistency, maturity. From day one, he was always really mature. He's a guy who, again, whatever shows up on this box score doesn't include the impact he has on our team. And I think in the last 3 weeks, he's been so locked in. His communication's been so great. He's really been able to communicate and to get guys fired up to play. And his contributions are incredible. And Dews would also kill me if I took him out of the starting lineup because he's all about Cal Ripken streaks. So the last time I did that with Velton Jones, I still haven't heard the end of it, and that was like 6 years ago.